in treating and researching CFS can collaborate with each other to make breakthroughs on the science, indeed a center of excellence. And I am honored to come to you today in the presence of Dr. Peterson and Mrs. Whittemore to reiterate your recommendation to the Secretary of Health, which you've made more than once, that the Department of Health and Human Services establish 5 regional clinical care, research, and education centers, which will provide effective basic science, translational, and clinical research on CFS. The Whittemore Peterson Institute is our center of excellence. There can be no argument about that today. So now the Secretary of Health needs to act on this committee's recommendation and fund centers of excellence for CFS. Fund additional research to answer the many critical questions raised by this finding, fund clinical trials on treatments for CFS and XMRV, fund the development of diagnostic tests, fund physician training. I come again asking the Secretary to provide $100 million of immediate funding for these critical needs for CFS patients. And I ask that a substantial portion of that be earmarked to the Whittemore Peterson Institute. While we desperately need centers like the Whittemore Peterson Institute in lots of cities, we need to take advantage of what has been created in Reno to quickly get our arms around this devastating new human retrovirus and for all of its implications for CFS. And in all this excitement, I cannot let stand the appalling comments made by Dr. Reed from the CDC in the New York Times, declaring that they will not be able to replicate these findings. You can't find what you're not going to look for. The director of the CDC should never have let him respond to such a profound event with reckless abandon of science and CFS patients. And a change in leadership in the CDC's program for CFS has been endorsed by virtually everyone in the patient community and by this advisory committee, and it's past time that the Secretary act on this recommendation as well. I have a simple dream for my family. I dream that my husband can attend my twins' sons' baseball and soccer games and help coach them. And to pursue that dream, we're going to move our family back to Reno, Nevada. Despite the presence of the NIH, the FDA, and billions of dollars of medical infrastructure in the Washington area, the only place my husband can get Ampligen is in Reno. That's a crime. After 10 years of clinical trials, the FDA is stonewalling, and we can't wait any longer. I ask whether anybody in the FDA has ever had to move their family to get a medicine that has 20 years of safety data, but no approval.
1 minute.
My excitement and hope for understanding and treating CFS is renewed, and I thank the Whittemore Peterson Institute and all of its partners for that. And I'm grateful for this committee's recommendations from the last meeting in particular, and want to thank the members who have worked so hard to bring change for CFS patients. My message to the Secretary is fund the Whittemore Peterson Institute, fund XMR research in CFS, and bring responsive leadership on CFS to the CDC and the FDA. My family life depends on it. And I was supposed to read a statement from another patient in Reno, and I'm not going to have enough time to read all of it, but I would give her name, Anita Patton, and she asked for 2 things of this committee. One is for urgency and getting the FDA to act on the approval of Ampligen, and the other is for the NIH to fund the Whittemore Peterson Institute. There are generous donations from the Whittemore family that are making all of this possible, but that can't be the only source for the future of this illness. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Alexander. We're now going to be making our first call. Miriam, let me just check with you. We're back on our regular original schedule, so the folks who... Okay, terrific. Okay. I'm going to turn that down just a second.
Hello.
Hello, Dara Mablashi?
Yes.
Yes, this is Wanda Jones, designated federal official for